Alright, so I know it's been a while since I've talked about One Punch Man, but we gotta address this fight that is currently happening between Saitama and Garou. This is great. I am so glad that we are finally here, that we have finally built up to this battle, this confrontation between these two characters. Garou is my favorite character in the entire One Punch Man manga. Like, absolutely, by far. You could seriously make him the main character. And from the perspective of what has been happening in, like, the last, 20, 30 chapters, or however many it's been, it really does seem like the focal point has been on Garou. I think one of the issues of One Punch Man, obviously, is having Saitama be the type of person that he is, which really works for the comedy aspect of the series. But when it comes to the drama aspect and sort of the look at humanity and what does it mean to be good, what does it mean to be evil, what do these words really mean, and what happens when you do have that ultimate strength, that ultimate power? That's kind of one of the main things that I want to talk about in this video. I might take this video in a direction that you might not expect, or maybe that you don't get in other One Punch Man videos, so that'll kind of depend on you whether or not you like this video or not. But the reason I love Garou so much as a character is because we completely understand him. Even in the One Punch Man world, that is a lot of it is satire, a lot of it is comedy, a lot of it is just hard-hitting action. But then we have this character who just is not defined by any clear definition of good or evil. And it's just this person that is so mentally broken from the life that he's had and what he's built up to this point. And this is why I love him so much, because what he is doing here, what he's been trying to achieve by defeating all of these heroes, becoming as powerful as he is, and even like defeating the monsters, he is like this neutral source in a way, where he is doing his own thing. He doesn't have any overall group that he's associated with. He's not part of like the Heroes Association. He's not part of the monsters. He's just Garou completely and fully. And what does that mean? And I think that it's that sense of identity that he really is struggling with to find, and you get that throughout the course of this fight. And I think, again, some of the best fights, especially in shonen, and this is when you know that shonen's done really well and done perfectly. I'm not saying One Punch Man is shonen, but I'm saying, like, what makes battle shonen work when it works 100% to its like absolute capacity is when you are telling the story through the fights, where the fights are not just there to be spectacle, but you're actually telling a story through them. And I know One Punch Man is seinen, but it plays on the tropes, and it's kind of like a parody of a lot of popular shonen. And I love that it's doing what that does best here within the story, because you are telling the story of Garou throughout his battle with Saitama, because at first, he's doing this to kind of prove himself. He doesn't really remember who Saitama was. Then he remembers who he is and this obstacle in his path. And then he starts reflecting on his entire life. And he's this person that was put into a corner, that was put into a box from a very early age. And he had other people define who he was. People called him out and said he was the bad guy. He was the outcast of society. He was somebody that was pushed around. He was somebody that was picked on. He was somebody that was bullied. He was somebody that felt inferior, that had this sort of insecurity and inferiority complex, and all of these things that were pushed on him from a very young age. And I completely understand and relate to that to a degree. And it was because of that, that he has this sort of like built up backstory that he has, that he found this salvation in martial arts, where he was training with Bang and getting more and more powerful. And it was through gaining power that he actually felt like a sense of self. He felt like he mattered. He felt like this was important. And it can be like that when you feel very weak, inferior, like the entire world is out to get you, and then all of a sudden you come into this incredible power that you worked your ass off to achieve, by the way, which is going to play into like where the end of One Punch Man is right now, that he feels this sense like he deserves this. I deserve to beat everybody else down because they deserve to feel how I felt. And this is like the crossroads of where he's at, because the truth of the matter is, in One Punch Man, in life in general, like I said, this video, probably regular One Punch Man fans are going to be like, what the fuck are you talking about? But listen, there's a point. Okay, dark energy, evil, negative emotions is so much easier to access than positivity, hope, and doing the right thing. Garou here is put into a position time and time again where he can do the right thing, where he can turn himself around, where he doesn't have to be this victim. He doesn't have to be this person. There are plenty of opportunities for him to move forward positively, but he won't allow himself to accept it, because he's so ground into his pain that he wants other people to experience that pain. And this is so true to life. This is such a realistic thing that is thrown in here in this like high fantasy, high battle manga that we have. And you see it time and again when he comes up with the little boy. I'm sorry, I forgot his name. But the little boy that sees him as a hero and looks up to him, and he's right there and saying, you did such a great job, you defeated the centipede thing, and you're here, and this is amazing, you're my favorite hero, and, right there he could stop. And Saitama has no interest in fighting him whatsoever, because this is fucking Saitama. It's like, what? I have nothing to prove to you. You're like, who are you? Why are you doing this? Oh yeah, you're Garou, right? I thought you were a monster, but I guess you're not. So Saitama was going to turn around and walk away. He had no reason to even fight Saitama, but he refused to just allow himself to be good and feel good in that moment. He doesn't allow himself in order to even feel positive emotions. Every time he starts to feel something positive, he has to try to rip it away. And I resonate with that so much, because I just understand that from like a fundamental point of view, where it's like, I get it. Like, I've been there. Like, not really. I haven't like destroyed a gigantic S-tier centipede with my bare hands. I've killed a lot of the regular size ones, and I feel quite the bit of satisfaction when I do, because I hate those little fuckers. But I get it, man. And I get how difficult it is for him to accept it, to accept that positivity. And I love, it's hilarious. There's an entire chapter where he's fighting Saitama, and he keeps inadvertently saving people, which is just like amazing, like classic 100% pure, unadulterated One Punch Man humor, the stuff that I've came to know and love when I originally watched season 1 of the anime. That kind of humor, I love it, man. It's hilarious. He throws Saitama into a building, and then the building collapses, but there were actually people trapped, and now they can escape, and they're like, thank you, Garou. And he's like, no. And then he throws Saitama into a volcano and like completely redirects where the lava was flowing, where it was gonna go over this entire town, and now the people are safe, and they're like, yay. And he's like, then he punches Saitama so hard into the earth that it like shakes the entire gravitational whatever, and then people that were going to drown on the other side of the planet, now all of a sudden the water washes away from them and they're okay. And it's just like, dude, it's so fucking hilarious. Like, I was dying. I was sitting in my chair just like laughing my ass off with how much he just like, I'm evil, you don't understand. And then he just like winds up saving everybody. It's just I love it. Classic One Punch Man humor. But then we get to the most recent chapter that came out, and now we have this scene where it's been a little bit since we've seen like the god character that exists that apparently has enhanced all of these different characters. And of course Saitama does his thing. And the great thing about this too is that Garou has taken multiple hits from Saitama, and he keeps coming back. So it kind of reminded me a little bit of the Boros fight, how Boros was able to take like a couple of hits from Saitama and keep on going and keep punching back. So I kind of like that aspect of it as well. But then, Saitama hits him with this big punch, and he sort of like breaks away from that big transformed state he was in. And then he starts seeing he starts hearing the voice of this god character that's of course posing as his master Bang, because the god character always kind of poses as the person you look up to, or the person that you, aspire to be, like something that motivates you, that pushes you. And he offers him like this, like Saitama seems to be the hand that defies God. And I like it stated that way because, I mean, Saitama is hacked. He's broken. He's broken in this universe where he can pretty much just do whatever he wants to. It's almost as if he doesn't belong here, which makes it that much more hilarious when he does what he does. So if he's the hand that defies everything that this God character is trying to do, no matter what he puts ahead of him, then it seems as though maybe the hand of God itself would be able to oppose him in some way. And so he gifts Garou, it seems to be, at least this is what the chapter made it seem like, in a way that no other character has ever been gifted, where you actually like see, he doesn't really have, Garou's face kind of disappears, and you see this sort of like universe and galaxies, within him, sort of like the same way that God character was drawn in a way. It's like all that squiggly face shit. I don't know. But so if we're assuming that Garou now has, let's say the god's actual power was transferred to Garou, is this going to be the same song and dance once again? And this has always been the case. This has happened 10,000 times within this manga, where a character gets so strong and there's such a power up, and it's like, will this actually be a fight for Saitama? Will he actually struggle? Will he actually get hurt? And then in the next panel, Saitama just does his thing, and then the character's destroyed. So is this going to be that once more? Does One Punch Man ever reach a point? You don't have to spoil it for me if you read the webcomic, but I'm just like rhetorically, has it ever reached a point? Will it ever reach a point where Saitama is actually in a fight for his life? And if they did that, would it go against sort of what One Punch Man stands for? What this whole manga was all about originally? Would it kind of like spit in the face of the point of it, of the joke of it? I don't know. And then at what point? I mean, because even during this battle, like I said, even though I think some very serious like psychological things are happening here, I also noticed that that it is hilarious. Like they are still keeping up the comedy, they're keeping up the parody, they're keeping up the kind of tongue-in-cheek humor and everything. And I've never really thought One Punch Man was the kind of series that you could or should power scale. I don't really think that matters as much as like the tone of the manga itself and the parody that is being presented and the characters and their stories and everything. I don't think that matters as much as the power scaling does, but it's whatever you guys think. But anyways, if there was ever a moment where Saitama would be challenged, I think this would be it. I couldn't see, unless he actually literally comes face to face with the god character himself, but this seems to be as close to that as we're going to get, at least for now. It seems like that would be this would be the only time. So I don't know if that'll happen moving forward, but I just really appreciated everything that they were doing with Garou during this fight. And like I said, to me, Garou's the main character, and he has been for a long time. One Punch Man is, at least at this point, feels like a secondary character in his own manga, and maybe he should be. Maybe he should be that neutral force, and then we show the stories of other characters, and Saitama is sort of this like constant that exists throughout the entire story, where we have other characters that go up and down, whether in strength, whether in how they're heroes or villains or where they are, and Saitama is just sort of that neutral line that never gets crossed. I don't know, but let me know what you guys think of this chapter and these chapters that have been happening. I've absolutely loved these fights. This fight that has happened between Saitama and Garou, this is what I was waiting for. So far, I think it's delivering on all fronts, and I can't wait to see how it wraps up. So tell me what you guys think about the fights down below, between what is happening right now in the manga, what you think is happening in the story, what do you think will happen next, all that fun stuff. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. And subscribe to the channel if you want to. Talk about manga, anime, other stuff, life talks, live streams. I do a lot of stuff on here. I fought Sasquatch once. I don't know. That's a thing. Anyways, thanks a lot for watching, guys. I appreciate you guys. Love you so much. We'll talk to you next time.